July of 1978, a Soviet scientist made the fateful decision to place his head inside a particle accelerator. Before the scientist knew what was happening, a charged proton stream had struck his skull at around 670 million miles per hour, and with that single blinding flash, everything changed. At that time, the U-70 wasn't functioning as it should. Research scientist Anatoly Burgoski happened to be working at the institute that day, and perhaps in an attempt to discover what was wrong, he inserted his head into the machine. Then, at a critical moment, somehow the beam fired, and it headed towards Burgoski. The experience was seemingly brief and painless, although Burgoski later reported having seen a burst of light brighter than 1,000 suns. In that single life-changing moment, the U-70 had fired a highly charged beam of protons straight through the scientist's head, and the physical impact of receiving such a high-powered dose of proton radiation was, at that time, entirely unknown.
So what happened? He survived? Well, clearly he survived. What happens when people get hit with that? Like, I guess people would die? Like, that sounds powerful. Also, how come he didn't get blinded by it? Ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. That was really off-key, but it was like The Weeknd, Blinded Lights. I don't know. That's insane. That guy probably should have been dead. I don't know too much about science. Actually, I lied. I was really good at science. But you guys know what I'm saying, hopefully. People are just here trying to make me look stupid. Mauro Prosperi. And he's prospered, clearly. Hence his last name. Anyway. Oh, I've heard about this. Oh my God, this is crazy. Okay, so this guy did the Marathon Disables. I obviously pronounced it wrong, but it's called the Marathon of the Sands. And it's like a really long race. So it's a 6-day event and you run for 233 kilometers, okay? But this guy freaking got lost. It happened in 1994. There was a sandstorm and then he got lost. And so then he was like, whoa, where the hell am I? And he was walking for like a long time. Let's just say that. Basically, he ran out of food, water, he was lost. He drank his own urine and he survived. He would eat raw snakes and lizards. First of all, you have to be a beast to be able to catch a lizard when you're already tired, to catch a lizard, to catch a snake, and then just be like, you know, beast. And then he had the fluids and meat of bats. So basically he drank like bat's blood and ate their meat. And then after 9 days alone, doing all this, he was actually found and taken to the hospital. Isn't that insane? He literally survived when he shouldn't have. That's crazy. This man is crazy. He's insane. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to the Peachiest channel on the internet. I'm your host Peach, and today we're looking at some extreme people that survived the impossible. From plane crashes to train crashes, we'll be looking at it all. So why don't you smash that like button, comment something down below, and subscribe to Peach, be a Peach. Now, we'll continue on with the video.
A man in a boat has washed up on the remote Marshall Islands in the North Pacific. He claims he'd been drifting on the open ocean for 13 months and used his wits and a knife to survive. Some are a little suspect of his story, but as Robin Stickley reports, if it's true, it is one of the greatest tales of survival at sea.
On what was supposed to be a day trip, the fishing boat departed from an unknown location in Mexico, December 2012. When the motor died, Alvarenga says a storm blew the boat off course, drifting in the Pacific for months until currents finally brought him ashore 8,800 kilometers away.
Holy crap. 13 months living on a boat. That's literally a year and a month. He was literally on a boat, drifting for a year. No sunscreen. I would have looked like a lobster. My skin would have literally been leather and red. Like you wouldn't have even recognized me. A year living on a boat. That's a year of constant I died from seasickness. He had a knife, so I'm assuming that he would maybe he would fish and stuff. How would he drink water though? Because is that not salt water? Unless he somehow was able to boil the salt out of the water, like if he had a lighter or shit like that. I didn't even know, but this man's amazing. Holy. 16 oh, I've heard of this story. It's hella depressing. Oh, it's hella depressing. Okay, so plane crashed and people stayed alive for 72 days in the Andes, and they had to eat the people that died, like their friends and family. I've told you it's depressing. So in October of 1972, on Friday the 13th, I'm not saying that it's a coincidence, but That's a little suspicious. Anyway, so they were flying over the Andes. It was a rugby team, okay? I think they were going to their game, and then the plane crashed into the mountains. 12 passed in the crash, and then 11 died in an avalanche, and 16 people were rescued over 2 months later. So 16 people ended up surviving, and they were in sub-zero temperature with no food, and so they used razor blades and broken glass, and they would take the flesh off of their friends and eat it to survive. Ugh. Oh, my heart breaks for that one. That's hard. I can't. Oh, we're gonna move on. That was depressing.
Every day, Stormo Yamaguchi gives thanks for what he calls his miracle. As a survivor of the atomic bomb attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the 93-year-old still can't decide whether he's the luckiest or unluckiest man in history.
I have walked and crawled through the bottom of hell. I should be dead, but it was my fate to keep on living.
So I've heard of this story too. This man is insane. He was in Hiroshima when the bomb dropped. He survived. So then he went to Nagasaki, which I believe he lived in. So he went back home, and then that was bombed. And he survived 2 blasts of the atomic bomb. Not just 1, 2. I can't believe. You hear him, he's just like, I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky. Like, the stuff that he must have seen, heartbreaking, man, heartbreaking. Oh, I've seen this photo, but I don't know his backstory. I've seen this photo all over the internet. Okay, let's see. So this is Harrison Okini. So on May 28th, 2013, a bunch of divers were like, you know, diving down 100 feet, and they were looking at the wreckage of the Jackson 4, which was a boat that capsized, and they didn't think that anyone would be alive, and then they found this guy. So he was the ship's cook. Basically, he was in the bathroom when the boat capsized and tried to reach an emergency exit hatch, but failed. The boat began to fill with water, and he was trapped in there. Eventually, he found himself trapped with a 4 square foot bubble of air. He's freaking lucky, oh my God. After 3 days, he had given up hope. Then he heard a knock. It was the hammer of the divers working on the surface of the ship. Eventually, diving gear was brought to him, and he was brought to a decompression chamber. Wow, oh, obviously he had to spend 2 days there. Oh my God. He had been at depths that should have killed him in a situation that took the lives of everyone else on board. And then he was like, I'm never going out to sea again, which makes sense. I would do the same. Can you imagine that though? Literally 100 feet down, surviving off of a bubble of air. Wow, that's crazy. And the fact that he couldn't leave right away, they're like, no, you have to go in a decompression chamber because like you don't want to get that sickness and throw it off your body. So he literally had to be there 2 days and then was able to go home. That's insane. Wow.
An incredible story of survival. We have been reporting on the search and rescue of Angela Hernandez, the Oregon woman who was stranded for a week after crashing off Highway 1 in Big Sur. Well, now we're getting a look at the crash scene. Angela is in the hospital tonight, recovering from several broken bones, but certainly not a broken spirit. And you look at that car and you think, wow.
That is crazy. Not only did she survive the crash, but she survived several days after, like being there alone. I want to know how the crash happened. That's insane. Like, did you see that car? Like, I don't know how she survived that.
Aaron Ralston made world headlines after becoming trapped in a canyon.
You probably thought it was over.
It's a matter of just cutting the skin.
It became a journey that would take Ralston from panic,
I can't crack it,
to despair,
I was gonna die,
finally to hope.
You did have a vision.
Make an attempt to get it to them.
A journey in which he would be forced to do something the rest of us find almost impossible to imagine.
I tried cutting my arm off.
He amputated his own arm with a pocket knife.
After becoming trapped under a boulder.
I had very, very little water.
I would never do something like that.
First of all, the music in the background made it so intense, I'm shook right now. So this is based on the story 127 Hours. So basically, I don't know, but now I want to watch it. He got trapped underneath the boulder, and he's like, I'm either gonna die here, or I have to like cut off my own arm. Ow, 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 ah! Had a little panic attack there thinking about being trapped there and having to do that. Wow, that's all I gotta say. Oh my God, I've heard of her story too. Stop, it's so depressing. Stop, why you gotta do this?
The author of the book Turbulence is one of the few people in the world who is a sole survivor of an airplane catastrophe. Her name is Annette Herfkens. Her plane hit the side of a mountain in Vietnam in 1992, killing 29 people on board, including Herfkens' fiancé. And she survived 8 days alone in the jungle drinking rainwater. Here's an excerpt from her book. It says, "I was sitting in what's said to be the least safe part of the cabin with the lowest survival rate. It was the aisle seat in the third row in front of the wing. But where I sat turned out to be irrelevant. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Everyone else was."
Holy shit, then. How did she survive that? She needs to buy a lottery ticket because she's now the luckiest person. Actually, I wouldn't say lucky. Because again, it's like you survived this, but like the horrors that you've seen. I don't know, she's either the most unlucky person or luckiest person. I'd say buy a lottery ticket and see what her odds are. But I heard about this story, like she was injured and she survived off of rainwater and meditating. She literally was meditating and it saved her. I gotta meditate more, guys. We all gotta meditate more, guys. And in our number one spot today, let's see what we got. The unluckiest man alive. Okay. Oh, I know this story too. Okay, so this is Frayne Selleck. In 1962, there was an incident where 17 people drowned after a train derailed into a river. He survived that. A plane door blew open and 19 people fell out of the sky. He fell and landed on a haystack. His bus went into a river. He survived. He got hit by a car and he survived. And then he was in his car one time and the fuel tank exploded. He survived. And after all this, he won 600,000 pounds in the lottery. It was the first time he ever played, but then he gave it to his friends and family. So that's why he's dubbed the unluckiest man alive, because he's been in so many accidents and keeps surviving them all when tons of people keep dying around him. I think he's just cursed, because that's intense. That is, All right, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these stories shocked you the most. They're all pretty insane. That's all I gotta say, seriously. If you like this video and you wanna see part 2, then smash that like button. Obviously, comment something down below and subscribe to Peach Be a Peach. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, aka Peach. Stick around for some bloopers. And I'll see you when I see you. Stay peachy. Bless me. Sorry. Hey everyone, what's up? And welcome back to the most amazing, that's not most amazing.